Keep watching The Politics every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on New York Parrot TV, the voice for humanity.
Okay, I'm experiencing a little technical difficulties with my guest, Reverend Ruben Diaz Sr. So I'm going to go and skip my introduction right now. I'll get to that a little bit later in the second half. And let me introduce my guest, former councilman and state senator, Reverend Ruben Diaz Sr. Are you there, Reverend?
I'm here. Good afternoon. How you doing, Bob?
I'm doing fine. Now, as you know, you were supporting now President again, Donald Trump. So let me ask you about saying a few words about the victory of Donald Trump for president again.
I am delighted. I'm excited. Even in the Bronx, I was in charge in the Bronx, the Hispanic community in the Bronx, and you see, the Bronx sent a big message. I think that out of all the 5 counties in the city, the Bronx was the best one, and I'm happy because the Democratic Party is losing the community. They have been abusing us, using us, doing nothing for us, and now Donald Trump decided to come to the Bronx 2 times, and look at what happened.
And not only did they win the presidency, but they won the U.S. House of Representatives again and the U.S. Senate back. So it's a trifecta for the Republicans.
That is correct. And I believe that the nation is going to change, and the Democratic Party is going to have to start leaving that communism and socialism and that woke movement, because if not, there's not going to be any Democratic Party in the future.
Now, advisors to the president are already drawing up plans to carry out his mass deportation pledge, including discussing how to pay for it, weighing a national emergency declaration that would allow the incoming administration to repurpose military assets and detain and remove illegal immigrants here. What do you think about that?
Well, the nation gave Trump a mandate to do all the things that he promised that he's going to do. And we are supporting that, and we hoping, expecting starting in January, he start doing what he promised. There is no if or but. He has a mandate. So I'm trusting that I trusted him before, I'm trusting him now, and I will trust him in the future.
Now, why do you think Kamala Harris lost? Was it her stand on the immigration? Was it that she was viewed as a weak performer, or that they're claiming now that she didn't have enough time to, campaign?
I think that for 4 years, the Biden administration with Kamala, they did wrong. They opened the border, the economy, they did disastrous thing with the economy, the agenda with the
LGBT,
the transgender thing, the changing, taking the authority from Parrot about the
right,
and criminal, the defunding the police, all those things did a great damage to the agenda. And now when she came in the last month, she tried to change everything that she didn't do in 3 years. So that was a problem with the Democratic Party, and the community, the Hispanic community in the Bronx. You see the Hispanic Assembly District, Judaica Tapia, in that district,
yep.
George Alvarez, in those districts, John
Sanchez,
whatever, those districts, the Republican candidate, people that nobody knew who they were, people that they didn't spend money yet. They just put their names in the Republican line, and they got over 5,000 votes in Judeca Tapia district. Over almost 6,000 votes. Do you know what that means?
And I said before the election that you basically were one of the few people who would get over 90%. As a matter of fact, when you ran for state senate and even announced that you were running for city council next year, you received 95% of the vote. This year, Carl Hastie just broke 80% with about 82%. He was the only Democrat to break 80%.
There you go. That's a message. That's a message that the Democratic Party, especially on the Bronx leadership, the Democratic County leadership, Jamal Bailey had to start doing something. He's nowhere to be seen. And they just think that because they're Democrats, they have been doing this year after year, and that's why they have been taking our community for granted. And our community already started to awaken. And I don't think they're going to go back. I don't think our community is going back. I think that now the Republican Party has an opportunity to build upon this victory that Donald Trump just gave us. And if the Republican leadership, if Mike Rendino and the Republican leadership in Bronx County are paying attention and start investing in our community, start putting resources and doing things in our community, there will be a stronger Republican Party in the future.
Now, we have a Republican councilwoman on the east side in the 13th Council District. And she went up against Marjorie Velazquez, who was a very weak candidate, and she beat Marjorie Velazquez on a couple of issues. 32BJ, the union, was endorsing Marjorie Velazquez, sent her a lot of money in different ways. And even though Marjorie lost with all of that help, now 32BJ is putting up one of their vice presidents to run against the Republican in the 13th Council District. And it looks like Assemblyman John Sicaro Jr., who is the assemblyman in half of the east side, is got no say in the matter, because it looks like Jamal Bailey is going to have to endorse this 32BJ vice president. I forgot her name already, Shirley something or other. And it looks like because the 32BJ gives money to the party, Democratic Party, the Assembly Democratic Committee, and I'll get into that in a little moment with you in a minute. Do you think that 32BJ is proper trying to take the seat with their vice president?
32BJ and the union, they have always controlled the Democratic Party. That is nothing new. We all know that that's what they do. It's up to Mike Rendino and the Republican leadership to start now building and working and doing things. And this lady, the council member, Mike Rendino, you have to start going out in people and doing things. And, they cannot take the community for granted anymore. People have to, the new leadership is not like the old leadership. The old leadership used to be in the street, used to be doing community activity, community gathering. And now, people now, they don't go anywhere. The leadership don't go anywhere. Nobody know who they are.
And there's been stories in New York Focus about 700,000, I believe, almost $700,000 coming from the State Democratic Assembly County Committee, which Assemblyman Jeffrey Dinowitz is the chair of, going to the Bronx Democratic Party, since only that Senator Jamal Bailey has become the leader, and this money was never accounted for. All of a sudden, when New York Focus did an article on it, there was an accounting, and it seems that more than half of the money went to one of Senator Bailey's former chief of staffs, who was a consultant with London House, and now There's another story about judges that just came out by New York Focus, and it seems that the executive director of the Bronx Democratic Party also had a consulting firm, and she worked for Jason Lately, who owned London House. It seems like it's going to be a big scandal. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm going to keep away from that. People, if they did something wrong, they're going to be investigation or whatever. But I don't want to go into that. I just want to do that the community get the best service that they could get, and the Republican Party start investing in our community and start coming to our community, start visiting our senior centers and doing things. So people do away with that perception that been built that the Republicans are our enemies. And I have been working with the Republicans. In 2015, I brought Tom Cruise to the South Bronx, to the Bronx. In 2016, I brought Tom Cruise to Sabrosura, a restaurant in the Bronx. And now, in those two occasions that Donald Trump came, I was part of it. I was part of the coordination of the Crotona Park. I even spoke there. Mm-hmm. And then they called me and asked me for a barbershop in the Bronx. And I suggested and gave the name of my barber, Javier Barbershop. And they came. So I have been part of it. It's not the first time that I've been supporting Republicans. I've been supporting Republicans all my life.
Well, it seems like you support the best candidate for the office, much like when your son ran for borough president. You supported your son, even though he was very different than you, unfortunately.
I supported Eric Adams for mayor.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Eric Adams, is he going to be? What's going to happen, do you think, is to Eric Adams?
Everybody in this nation, this country, is innocent until proven guilty.
Correct.
And smart Eric Adams has not proven guilty of anything, so he should keep doing his work and let's see what happens.
Let me ask you one final question before I let you go. What is in the future for Reverend Ruben Diaz Sr. with the Donald Trump administration?
Nothing. I don't do my thing because of political or personal gains. I do my thing because out of conviction. And people know that I have lost many friends. I have lost many opportunities because of my position. Because my position doesn't depend on what I'm going to gain or what I'm going to lose. My position depends on my belief. And when I believe something, people know that they know that I don't change my belief. I don't change my faith. And that's what I do. So I'm not expecting anything for Donald Trump. I'm happy. I'm glad. I praise the Lord that we did good in the Bronx. I was partly in charge of the Bronx. We did good. And praise the Lord because of that. So I'm not expecting anything.
Not even a position like ambassador to New York City for the president?
I'm not expecting anything from
President Trump?
From President Trump. However, if they come and give me something, I take it.
Okay, no problem. I want to thank you for coming on the show. That's Reverend Ruben Diaz Jr., former state senator here in the Bronx, and former.
Not you, the senior.
Okay, so thank you. And let me go to a commercial right now, and I'll come back with some more news. So let's go to a commercial.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the official launch of the Bronx Post, your premier source for news and information in the Bronx. As the CEO of Muslim Media Corporation, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the Bronx Post, our latest endeavor dedicated to serving the vibrant and diverse community of the Bronx.
Oftentimes, mainstream media portray this county in the most negative way possible, all because Bronx continued to be judged in the 70s and 80s when Bronx was burning. Today, as we enter the Small Business Month of 2024, Muslim Media Corporation is proud to announce the formation and the creation and establishment of a new newspaper that will cover the entire Bronx, continue to highlight the new Bronx, the new realities and the new developments and the new attributes of the Bronx. Some things that are not being covered by, again, our mainstream media. Bronx Post, the first county-wide newspaper to be published by Muslim Media Corporation, that has already been publishing Parchester Times.
We aim to be your trusted source for information. We believe in the power of journalism to inform, inspire, and unite communities. With the Bronx Post, we seek to amplify the voice of Bronxites, celebrate the richness of our culture, and shed light on the issues that impact our lives.
Changing Bronx deserves a changing narrative. And the Bronx Post.
Okay, welcome back. Let me go into my introduction right now because this is Talking Politics. My name is Robert Press, and I am a reporter for the Bronx Post, as you can see by my official press card. I also write for the Parkchester Times and the Co-op City News. The Parkchester Times, like the Bronx Post and this show, are part of Muslim Media. I have a blog at www.100%.blogspot.com, along with Facebook pages 100% and what is going on in your community board. The views expressed on this show are that of the host, any guest, or anyone who is commenting at the bottom of your screen, and not necessarily those of Muslim Media Corporation. The weather report for this weekend: today, Friday, we should get about 60. Saturday, the high, again, will get up to 60. Sunday, 62. So we're back into mild weather, and 64 on Monday with a slight chance of showers on Monday. New York City currently is experiencing a drought, and there is a ban on barbecuing in the city. Brush fires are starting, some by cigarettes or cannabis butts being dropped without completely making sure they're out. Thus, with the grass so dry, the possibility of starting a fire is greater than when the grass has moisture in it. As I had my guest on, Ruben Diaz Sr., I'm going to speak a little bit about the Somos Convention, which is where all the elected officials from the city go. They gather in Puerto Rico in the warm weather, as we had 43 degrees last night. So before the election, Queensborough President Donovan Richard quipped that this year's Somos Conference in San Juan, Puerto Rico is either going to be a funeral or a party. The results are, as folks, it's a mournful affair. Some opted to skip it altogether, like Mayor Eric Adams and State Party Chair Jay Jacobs, Democratic Party Chair Jay Jacobs, the new Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. As Democrats in New York digest the outcome of the election, the chatter at their annual gathering in Puerto Rico has been about the prospect of a special session to solidify New York rights before Donald Trump takes office. Neither State Senate Majority Leader Stuart Cousins or Assembly Speaker Carl Hastie had committed to the idea, an agenda which remains nebulous, but the desire to safeguard the Empire State is strong. So at Sumos, 5 announced challenges to the mayor, Assemblyman Mondari, State Senator Jessica Ramos, and Zelma Myrie, City Controller Brad Lander, and former City Controller Scott Stringer were friendly and refrained from publicly taking shots at one another. They practiced their stump speeches and courting allies. All the candidates are to the left of Adams. They echoed similar themes about addressing the city's affordability crisis and how the next mayor should be competent. Controller Brad Lander questioned whether Mayor Adams would protect New Yorkers against President Donald Trump's policies, or he would try to seek curry favor with him in the hope of a potential pardon if Adams is convicted. If Eric Adams wants New Yorkers to believe that he's putting their interest ahead of his own, he should announce that he will not accept a pardon from Donald Trump, Lander said. As far as Governor Kathy Hochul, she went down to Somos on Saturday, left on Sunday, and then Tuesday she announced that in June, her congestion pricing pause didn't have anything to do with politics or elections, and less than a week after Election Day, in an awfully convenient timing, Hochul is moving back to bring it. 5 months ago, she denied reporting in Politico that the sudden halt of the congestion pricing was due to political concerns, specifically that the program was paused to avoid a drag down on down ballot Democrats in battleground congressional districts. She said she had to change her heart after hearing the economic concerns of commuters during chats. Last Friday, Politico reported that Hochul was reaching out to the Biden administration about bringing back the toll program, but lowering it to about $9 from the planned $15. Now, Democrats outside the transit-rich heart of New York City are blasting the governor and warning her that it will bring back the political pain that she sought to avoid. Some also allege a reboot undermines her argument that the pause wasn't political. We need a permanent end to congestion pricing efforts, full stop, Democrat Representative-elect Laura Gillen wrote on X just 3 days after her tight victory over Republican and incumbent Anthony D'Esposito. Long Island commuters cannot afford another tax, she said. Now, here's a little bit about what the structure and delivering $15 billion to the current MTA program. The governor says the toll reduction to $9 for cars will save drivers up to $1,500 annually. But congestion pricing then will cost drivers over $2,250 annually for something that was free. Under the plan announced by the governor on Thursday, the toll structure for entering New York City Central Business District below 60th Street in Manhattan would initially be as follows, starting midnight on January 5th. Daytime Easy Pass tolls, and notice it says Easy Pass tolls. Passenger vehicles, once per day, $9. Motorcycles, once per day, $4.50. Small trucks and non-commuter buses, $14.50. Large trucks and sightseeing buses, $21.60. Tunnel crossing credits reduced by 40% of original plan. Nighttime discounts of 75% of daytime tolls. Per ride fees for all trips from or within the business district. Taxis and black cars, 75 cents. At base for hire drivers, $1.50. Now, where will the money go? There are 4 items that she says. The 2nd Avenue Subway Phase 2 extension to East Harlem. Modern signals on segments of the A, C, B, D, F, and M lines for over 1.5 million riders daily. Accessibility improvements for more than 20 stations. Hundreds of new electronic buses. However, pursuant to Governor Hochul's plan, the MTA will not raise the initial tolls beyond the following percentages of the approval structure. Now, here's what you don't know about. This $9 daytime Easy Pass toll will only be in effect from 25 through 2027. Once January 1st, 28 comes around and through 2030, the toll will go up to $12 in Easy Pass. This phase and feature over time will help drivers adapt more easily to the program and give the MTA and other stakeholders the ability to monitor the data regarding implementation and effects. There was no mention of what the toll would be for casual drivers who do not have Easy Pass. And also a study in London has showed that after all the years that the traffic in London it went down initially, but it is now worse than it was before congestion pricing in London. And the Republican chair, Ed Cox, released the following statement in response to Kathy Hochul's flip-flop on congestion pricing. Governor Hochul's sudden move to implement congestion pricing in New York is a blatant bait and switch on hardworking New Yorkers. Just months ago, she hit the brakes on this misguided plan, clearly hoping to avoid political backlash during an election year. But now with the election behind her, she's racing to burden New Yorkers with yet another tax. The congestion pricing scheme ignores the real reasons for the MTA's fiscal troubles. Hundreds of millions lost each year due to fare evasion, and millions more lost because citizens are afraid of riding subways and buses because of the crime. Hochul and Democrats still haven't gotten a message to their tax criminal justice policies. Only a new Republican governor in 2026 will fix these problems. Republican New York State Chair Ed Cox said. Now, Mondaire Jones is speaking out about his loss. Some are calling it sour grapes. He said that it speaks to the fact that the Democratic Party's brand is in shambles in the suburbs because of the issue of immigration, and he's criticized his own party on this. He said, "We've waited too long to be tough on the border, to take seriously the migrant crisis, to act to secure the border. We are paying the price, and we are seeing that all throughout the United States." Brad Lander is trying to pass, he says, the election of Donald Trump poses significant threats to New York City's budget, economy, and infrastructure, and people, according to a new report from his office, which you can find on my blog titled Protecting New York City from Controller Brad Lander. He says the New York City budget, federal funding for city operations, individuals, public education, funding for housing and homelessness, public hospitals, economic impacts are likely economic policies regarding tariffs, immigration, and healthcare would cause higher prices and reduce labor supply, affecting New York City, the removal of the SALT deduction cap, and the impact on the city's housing, construction, and supply, the infrastructure, congestion pricing, which President Trump said he will end. Transportation and infrastructure funding, climate protection, protecting New York City's vulnerable populations, immigrant New Yorkers, access to safe and legal abortions, gender-affirming care and trans rights, access to health care workers' rights, fighting discrimination, and advancing racial equality. The entire, like I said, the entire report by Controller Lander can be found on my blog, 100%.blogs. 100%bronx.blogspot.com. In the archive section on the left, under New York City Controller Lander outlines risk of Trump presidency for New York. Mayor Adams had his media availability this past Tuesday. Questions came about the Trump administration and if he was going to seek a pardon and what he had to say about the Democratic weaknesses. He went on to say, when I talked about public safety in 2021, it was ignored. When I talked about migrants and asylum seekers in 2023, it was ignored. He said in 2021, the top issues, public safety. 2023, what was the top issue? Immigration. Now, Republicans have elected U.S. Senator John Thune of South Dakota to serve as majority leader in the next Congress. He will be replacing Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, who is the Senate's longest serving leader, and he was the current Senate minority leader because Chuck Schumer was the majority leader. So the Republicans have elected Senator John Thune of South Dakota to serve as the new majority leader. Like I said, Adams said yesterday that Democrats have themselves to blame for the waning support in New York City that allowed Trump to gain ground from the boroughs, as my guest Ruben Diaz said. Mayor Adams said that Democrats have themselves to blame. They allowed Trump to gain the ground. Again, their far left agenda is backfiring on them. He said his administration was scenario planning for changes coming down the pipe once President-elect Donald Trump takes office after the incoming border czar vowed to crack down on sanctuary cities. Now, City Hall has stopped a questionable real estate contract for a new department for the aging headquarters from being awarded to Alexander Ross, a prominent donor to New York City Mayor Eric Adams' campaign and legal defense fund. It was former state Senator Jesse Hamilton who changed that from the office at 250 Broadway to make it to a 14th Street building owned by this campaign donor to Eric Adams. And like I said, it has now been stopped. Also, Tracy Collins, a senior member of the New York City Department of Education staff and Mayor Eric Adams' longtime girlfriend, retired last week amid an investigation into a claim she held a no-show job. Now, let me just end with this. Who makes what in New York City? There is a report that New York City Schools Chancellor Melissa Aviles Ramos is the city's highest paid employee, far exceeding the mayor's salary after she inherited the raise awarded to her predecessor, David Banks, the New York Post has learned. Bronx-born mom, 42 years old, Aviles Ramos, will get a whopping $414,799 a year, a big jump from her last salary of $232,754, Department of Education people say. In addition, she will receive a wide range of fringe benefits paid vacation and sick days, plus a car and driver, according to an October 15th letter of appointment by Mayor Adams. Ex-Chancellor Banks got the wage increase up 12% from his $363,346 salary in the latest round of citywide management raises. Adams pushed the school chief out mid-October after the FBI seized Banks' phones in an ongoing corruption investigation. Now, what does Mayor Adams get paid, you might say? His salary is remaining at $258,750. But let's look at some of the salaries of the top executives of the Health and Hospitals Corporation. Number one, Mitchell Katz, who received $660,000 a year, and I was very surprised to see this figure. Mitchell Katz, the president of the Health and Hospitals Corporation, now receives $868,324 a year. There are 5 more employees who earn over $500,000 at the Health and Hospital Corporation. Ali Sadar, Director of Services, receives $534,321. Mutmur Malkowski, I'm sorry if I mispronounced his name, Director of Service, receives $533,732. Manuel Nowicki, Director of Service, $523,129. Liat Elma Applewhite, Director of Service, $515,000. Talia Schwartz, CEO of Metro Health Plus Plan, $500,000. And there are 15 other people who earn $425,000 or more at Health and Hospitals Corporation. No wonder our city's hospitals are going broke. The salaries are astronomical for these people, and somebody should look into that. And I am going to end here. Thank you for watching. Thank my guest, Ruben Diaz Sr., for coming on the show. I hope to have another interesting guest next week or the following week. And I hope you continue to watch Talking Politics here on Parrot TV. And thank you for watching.
In a world where the quality of information available to poorer communities is doctored, tainted, and sometimes regressive, where the words fake news have come to mean other people's opinions, it is vital to rely on news platforms with journalists who have feet on the ground and can report the truth. New York Parrot, a New York-based national and global news outlet, is changing the narratives of media operations. We focus on the news that matters, like self-empowerment, entrepreneurship, finances, health, security, politics, and more. We strive to curb violence, racial and economic discrimination, and to promote peace and socio-economic development of multiculturally diverse world. As we give voice to the people, we also give your business a voice and make it heard. Get your products and services off the ground by advertising on our fast-growing platform. With so much of daily visits to New York Parrot, you can't afford to be invisible to prospective clients on the websites they trust the most. Our posts reach millions of people across the New York State and around the world. Advertising on our news site will unlock an audience of thousands of potential customers on your doorstep. New York Parrot is born to prosperously speak tomorrow for the voiceless.